Okay, friends, thank you so much for waiting and for your patience and for joining me again live. Some technical difficulties. Anyway. So, for those who may have missed the beginning of what I was talking about earlier, is that I was stating that what is happening with MAGA right now? What is happening? It seems like there's this big schism, and it's also seeming like we're in this one big high school classroom, right, where everybody's bickering and fighting about certain things, and then you had the teacher who's like, you know what? I'm for everyone. I want everyone to get great grades in school, to get all straight A's, to graduate, move on to college, be successful, all the things. And then that person, the teacher, everybody's mad at the teacher over whatever it may be. Maybe they didn't pass their grades, but it just seems like there's just one big high school bickering thing and everybody's mad at each other. Okay. That's exactly what it's seeming like right now with the whole MAGA movement, not even just MAGA, but just politics in general, both sides, both the Republicans, the Democrats, and even actually the independents, the whole country seems like everybody is just at war with each other. Okay. So this video here is very interesting because you may have heard, not even just 24 hours ago, I finished recording a video. It was about APAC and all the people that are involved and bought and paid for by APAC. And I was talking about certain politicians who actually were not a part of that. Okay. And this one particular politician, a representative in Georgia, actually announced yesterday that she's resigning. And I find that quite perplexing for a lot of different reasons. Okay. Because first things first, she was gung ho, released the Epstein files, pro America, fighting against APAC, all the things. Okay. And I know that her and the president were kind of like at odds with each other. He was calling her a traitor, saying she changed, all the things. Okay. So they were at odds at each other. And he said she doesn't have a chance in the primaries, which actually is very, very, very untrue. Since her stand, her pro-America stance, and not getting into foreign wars and not taking from these foreign lobbies, APAC, she's actually become more popular, extremely popular. And we're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Okay. So I know the president was actually saying different things about her, that she's actually siding with another representative in Kentucky. His name is Thomas Massey, great guy, pro-America, never voted on anything foreign, always for his representing his people. And he actually walks around with the debt clock. Okay. He walks around with that like a little debt clock pin that's always turning because it seems like we're always in debt. All right. So, with that being said, this whole thing with Marjorie Taylor Greene resigning has left a lot of people perplexed and shocked. Okay. So, I want to play a video for you and we can dive deeper into this whole thing because I think it's important for us to see this and then dissect it and see what's going on and talk about it. I have my own personal thoughts of what I think is happening, just speculations, what I think is possibly happening. I don't know. There's just so many different things, but I'm going to play her resignation video and then we will talk more about it because I think it's important. Okay. Let me play this video here. Let me add her to the stage. Let me go back here. All right.
Hi, everyone. I've always represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C., and just never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in order to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher, corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts, American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations. Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest. And the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income as both parents have to work in order to simply survive. And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart.
Okay, so that is actually very, very, very true. And I can witness to that because there are actually people that I know that are 30 years old that feel hopeless, that they cannot get a job or get a house. They can't move out on their own because things are so expensive. Okay. And these are the things that I'm talking about. Politicians keep putting other things ahead of Americans or other countries ahead of Americans. And what she's saying is very, very truthful. It's extremely truthful. So the fact that she is resigning shows to me that the politicians that get elected, they have a very hard job. They may go in there with starry eyes. I'm going to put the Americans first. I'm going to do things, but things are so corrupt and so dirty that someone said it's a swamp, which, you know, in the swamp, there's moccasins and alligators and all the things. I think it's more of like a sewer. Okay. It's more of a sewer, like dirty, yucky things that you don't even want to be dealing with. Okay. At least in a swamp, there's animals, there's life, you know, they're doing their thing. But in a sewer, that's exactly what DC is. So when these politicians go in there and they're starry-eyed and they're wanting to represent their people, but then they're seeing how deep the sewer is and how you have to pretty much be backed by these foreign lobbies and you have to go with protocol. And if you don't, you're not going to get anywhere. That's exactly what we're seeing. And I'm not saying that this is right, but I can see if you want to be successful, in that realm, you almost have to go along to get along. Okay. And for people who don't, they get out at like how she has been. Okay. So she's saying a mouthful there, a whole mouthful. Okay. So hold on one second. Let me get past this here and we'll continue with the video. So what are you guys' thoughts? I mean, there's just so much to this. It's just unbelievable. Let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking. Let me pull this video back up here for us. All right, can y'all hear that? Oops, sorry.
Tyrannical insanity and mandated defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies, because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders. I have fought hard for that. I've fought against COVID tyrannical insanity and mandated mass vaccinations, and I've never voted to fund foreign wars with your hard-earned tax dollars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown wrongly, resulting in the House not working for the entire time. And we are entering campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on in the House of Representatives. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass the plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster. But instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle on television every single day. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official language of the U.S., making it a felony to medically trans a minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas just sit. They all sit collecting dust. That's how it is for most members of Congress bills. The Speaker never brings them to the floor for a vote. Many common Americans are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media, obediently serving with cult-like conviction to force others to swallow the political party talking points. Because they know how much credit card debt they have, they know how much their bills have gone up over the past 5 years. They actually do their own grocery shopping and know food costs too much. Their rent has increasingly gone up and up. They have been outbid by corporate asset managers too many times when they put in an offer to buy a house. They have been laid off after being forced to train their visa holding replacement. The college degree they were told to earn only left them in debt with no big six-figure salary.
Okay. So I'm going to comment on that really quickly. So you may have seen when Laura Ingraham was talking to the president about the H-1B visas, and she was talking about, why won't we just keep the jobs here or make sure that we have jobs enough for people here in America? And he's like, oh, no, we have to bring in talent. She says, well, we have talent here. And he says, no, we don't. No, we don't. Okay. So this is what she is referencing here. And this is what I'm talking about, America first. And this is where the schism started with those two. Okay. I'm talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene and the president. Okay. So I'm going to give one of my speculations. Okay. This could be wrong, but this is just one of the things that went through my head. She is resigning because, okay, I could be wrong here, but just go with me for a second. Maybe she's seen something in the Epstein files and it's like, whoa, this is much bigger than I thought. And maybe I need to remove myself from this. Okay, just go with me for a second. This is a lot bigger than maybe what she thought, seen some things, because remember, she was pro-releasing that, her and Thomas Massey and a couple other people, and obviously a lot of the Democrats. Maybe they seen some things on there and said, hey, I want to remove myself from this administration or remove myself just in general, keep myself clean. I'm going to remove myself. What do you guys think? Leave some comments. All right, I'm going to continue playing this for you, and then I'll go back to some other thoughts that I have.
They see more homeless people than ever on their own community streets. They can't afford health insurance or practically any insurance, and they just aren't stupid. These are the people I represent and love because that is who all of my family and friends are, common Americans. I've been blessed to represent the 14th District of Georgia for 5 years. The district is filled with some of the most wonderful, kind-hearted, God-fearing, patriotic, hardworking people you will ever meet.
Okay, so let's talk again. So she mentioned about which is so funny that she's represented them for 5 years. So a lot of people are saying, okay, how convenient that you are resigning after your 5 years, because that means you're going to get this whole, your whole package, your retirement package and all the things. So we have people that are against her and saying, okay, this is convenient. You served your 5 years. Now you have the rest of your life and you are set. And then also, like I said, she's not squeaky clean. She's really, really good. She's not squeaky clean. She has done some insider trading. So I don't think she's hurting for money. So I'm just throwing out these things out there that a lot of people are saying. I'm not saying things. I will say when I am thinking things, but this is what people are saying. Okay. So let's continue.
Regular common Americans. I've worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back home to help district needs. I impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland after watching my constituents die as he facilitated dangerous open border invasion into America. And I led the effort to defund hard left politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID. And I did that as chair of the DOJ subcommittee. I have fought harder than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power. I traveled the country for years. I spent millions of my own money. I missed precious time with my family that I can never get back. And I showed up in places like outside the New York courthouse in Collect Pond Park against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare. Meanwhile, most of the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him and who stabbed him in the back and never defended him against anything have all been welcomed in right after the election. And I will never forget the day I had to leave my mother's side as my father had brain surgery.
Okay, so here she is talking about her sacrificing and all the things. So I'm going to give you a second thought, okay? So the first time I said she probably seen something is like, let me separate myself. The second thing is maybe she is resigning because she's wanting to move on to something else eventually, okay? So maybe she has aspirations to move on to the Senate, maybe governor. I don't know. Okay. So those are just some thoughts of why she's all of a sudden just dropping out, because it just seems really swift, all of a sudden for her to make these changes and just decide like, hey, I'm out of here. I have another thought, and I will leave that for the last because that's going to have me slide into another person of influence that I think we all need to pray for. Very, very important. So stay towards the end of this video because I want you guys to see and know this. So I'm going to continue playing this for you. I'm going to speed it along here just so that we can get through this. Let me put her back onto playing.
My true convictions remain unchanged because my self-worth is not defined by a man, but instead by God, who created everything in existence. You see, I have never valued power, titles, or attention in spite of all the wrong assumptions about me. I do not cling to those things because they are meaningless and empty traps that hold too many people in Washington. I believe in term limits and do not think Congress should be a lifelong career or an assisted living facility. My only goal and desire has ever been to hold the Republican Party accountable for the promises it makes to the American people and put America first. And I have fought against Democrats' damaging policies like the Green New Deal, wide open, deadly, unsafe border policies, and the trans agenda on children and against women. With that has brought years of nonstop, never-ending personal attacks, death threats, lawfare, ridiculous slander, and lies about me that most people could never withstand even for a single day. It has been unfair and wrong, not only to me, but especially to my family, but it's been wrong to my district as well. I have too much self-respect and dignity. I love my family way too much, and I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we.
Okay. So there she had said about the primary. I disagree because I think she would definitely win and slide through. But if it were just strictly honest voting, no one tampering with any of the elections, people overriding whoever is funding, like the APAC people that like to fund these congressmen and these representatives to try to get other people out. Aside from all of that, all of the shenanigans, I think she would win. Okay. Those are my thoughts. All right. And then the one thing that she says that she had was death threats, which is awful, awful, awful. That we should never, ever condone that. That is so terrible. I just can't even imagine. I would personally be so terrified. And whenever it was brought up to the president, he said he doesn't care. Now he's changing his tunes a little bit. He's saying, well, she's a nice person or whatever, now that she's resigned. So whatever. But one thing I will say, and this is my thought, okay? She mentioned that she's having threats. She's getting threats. This is probably one of the reasons why she may be resigning, okay? maybe her family, because remember, people's families, they have family out there and they want to protect their family. It's one thing if you're getting threats, but if your family may be getting threats or maybe blackmailed, I don't know. Okay. So there's some speculation out there, some thoughts out there, and that's just one of my thoughts as well. Maybe it's just something really threatening happening to her and she's wanting to exit. She doesn't seem too extremely afraid or fearful. I'm not sure, but at the same time, you never know. Someone may be getting some threats. Their family may be getting some threats, which has me sliding into a whole different topic. Okay. So Candace Owens, who I love, she does an excellent job with her investigative journalism, super amazing with the details that she's been going through with the Charlie Kirk assassination and just a lot of different things, even with the French president, prime minister, whatever he is, president over in France, Macron, and the person he is married to, different things that Candace have been deep diving into that. Whether you agree with it or not, doesn't matter. Foreign entities that are threatening people's lives. Okay. And I wanted to show this to you before I wrap it up. Stay tuned. I want you to see this because it's so important. And we all need to pray for Candace's safety. Okay. There should never be, ever be anyone threatening anyone for any reason. And I will say this. Okay. Whenever you are on to something, whenever someone is speaking truth, they're on the trail of truth and they're speaking something truthful and they're getting to something, okay? People always want to shut you up. People never want to shut you up for the tooth fairy because obviously we know the tooth fairy doesn't exist, okay? People never want to shut you up for, Casper the Friendly Ghost, because there's no Casper the Friendly Ghost. But they always want to shut you up for truth. They always want to say, you know what? Let's shut this person down. Okay. The same thing with Christianity, with Jesus. They're always attacking Christians because there's truth. Okay. They never do that for any other religion. All right. So this is what I am saying to you all. We need to stand together. And we need to pray for Candace because I'm going to pull this up here. She posted it. And I woke up in the middle of the night and was just like checking my phone. And I had seen this and immediately started praying for her. And I want you all to do the same because it's important. Okay. So I'm going to add this so that you all can see this because it's very important. Alrighty. So Candace posted this on her X feed and it said urgent. 2 days ago, I was contacted by a high-ranking employee of the French government. After determining this person's position and proximity to the French couple, I have deemed the information they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly in the event that something happens, which God forbid, I hope never, ever, nothing ever happens to her because she has 4 children. She's young. She's hardworking, shedding light on things. And, she's a wife and just a human being in general. Anyway, in short, this person claims that the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination. Yes, you read that correctly. More specifically, that the green light was given to a small team in National Gendarmerie Intervention Group. I am told there is one Israeli that is on this assassination squad, and the plans were formalized. Again, this person provided concrete proof that they were well placed within the French government apparatus. Further to this point, this person claims that the Charlie Kirk assassination trained with the French Legion, 13th Brigade, with multi-state involvement. Journalist Xavier Persard, life is also at risk. This is deadly serious. The head of state of France apparently wants us both unalive, dead, and has authorized professional units to carry this out. I ask that every person retweet and share this. I do not know who in the American government can be trusted, since this source claims our leaders are aware, but I have more specific information which is definitely verifiable, should they care to reach out to me. To the brave official in France who did this because they were so moved by the evil of Charlie's public execution to risk their own life, may God bless you truly. Let all be revealed. So I wanted to read that to you all because that is very serious. And for our government to know this and not do anything about it is also very serious. And we all need to be aware and cautious and pray for her and pray for those who are spreading the truth. And just be aware. I just wanted to put that out there because when you're doing the right thing, people will try to shut you down. And yes, like you, the person who said here, the truth is a treason in an empire of lies. That is correct. Very true. So I wanted to share that with y'all. Keep Candace in your prayers. Share that. She shared that also on her Facebook, on her Twitter as well. So definitely share that so people are aware. All right. So I will see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for joining. And I'll have a few other videos coming, a couple other, and then I'm going to take a little break, Thanksgiving week with my family. Some things I do want to share, some things that are coming up that I've talked about as far as APAC. There's some other organizations and then a counter organization. And then I also wanted to talk more about the Christian pastors that are actually a part of these organizations peddling lies and trying to get money out there, to get money from people to spread these lies. So I wanted to share that with you all. That's coming up very soon. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe, support my independent reporting. All of this takes time to put together. I really appreciate your feedback, all the things. And I will see you all in the next video. Thanks for joining me live.